Hello friends, welcome back to part 2 of the 146 professional full flight video. We are almost at our cruise level. We have less than 1,000 feet left, and it took a while in this aircraft because of those tiny turbines. You don't get too much thrust, so climbing is always challenging beyond 20,000 feet. But we made it there, so we will go into the cockpit and discuss what we need to do to set the aircraft for a good cruise. And then once we reach top of descent, we'll talk about the rest of the procedures that we need to follow to descend and complete our arrival and obviously approach and land. I'll see you in the cockpit very shortly. Alright, welcome to the cockpit once more. We are at 26,000 feet almost. The aircraft started reducing the vertical speed to capture the altitude, and the alt is indicated in our FMA. And we are currently holding 26,000 feet. And we need to set our TMS for cruise. So what we need to do is to select the target temperature or TGT. And I like to start with 700. And go to the TGT mode, and now we are seeing down arrows. TMS is telling us that it cannot control the throttles until we bring the throttles back just a tiny bit to allow it to control. So we will bring the throttles back until the white arrows extinguish. Now the TMS is in control, and it's gonna set the TGT to 700 degrees or 710 degrees, and we will monitor the speed to make sure we are not going to overspeed the aircraft. While the aircraft is accelerating, we will go to our EFB and pull off the top of descent calculator, sync our current altitude, sync our ground speed. Our target altitude for our expected arrival is 3,000 feet. We will enter that, and we want to descend at 3-degree glide slope.
Jersey 197, contact London Control 118.775, bye-bye.
Contact London Control 118.775, Jersey 197.
I'm gonna wait for this handoff to complete.
London Control, Jersey 197, flight level 260.
Jersey 197, London Control, radar contact.
Okay, so we need 72 miles at the moment and 1800 feet per minute descent rate. So we can use this information to compute our advisory VNAV. So we want to be at 3000 at Isle of Man VOR, which is India Oscar Mike. So we will change this to India Oscar Mike and enter that. Oh, we need to select it from here. I'm sorry. From our routing number 18, we will select that, and we want to be, what was the distance? 72 miles. So we need 72 miles to descend. So if we enter that, target vertical speed is around 1800 feet according to our calculator. Enter that, and it is telling us that we need to start descending in 54 miles. Maybe this is wrong. Present positions to Isle of Man 141. Let's see. That's probably not correct. So let's select the target vertical speed to around 2000 feet per minute and see what it gives us. 3.2 degree glide. That's acceptable. And 58 miles to top of descent. That will give us 90 miles to Isle of Man. hold on, I know what I did wrong. So number 18, and we want to be at 3000 feet. So that's what I missed there. Enter. And target vertical speed of 1900 feet. That gives us a 3-degree glide, and now we have a better calculation of advisory renav. So we need to start descent at 58 miles. So that's how you can use the advisory renav. Sorry about that miscalculation at the beginning, but that's pretty much what we need to do for cruise. Speed is looking good. I'm monitoring here to see if we are still accelerating slightly. We'll see where we end up, and we can adjust the TGT accordingly to make sure we are not going to exceed the speed and overspeed the aircraft. So perhaps we can just go and set it to 690 degrees. So obviously when you make adjustments, it will change and disengage the TGT mode. But once we press it again, TGT should be controlled by the TMS, and the aircraft should not accelerate anymore, or at least not in that rate. So we should maintain a good cruise speed. So that's what we need to do for cruise. We know when to descend. Our advisory renav is tracking that, and I will see you guys once we are at top of descent. Come back, dear friends. We are 15 miles away from our top of descent according to our advisory renav, and we have a couple things to discuss and get the aircraft ready for descent. Let's jump into the cockpit and talk about what we need to do. While I was cruising, I received instructions from ATC, radar vectors, ILS runway 26, which is what I was expecting.
Radar vectors, ILS runway 26. Report ready for descent.
Yep.
Radar vectors, ILS runway 26. Call when ready, Jersey 197.
Okay, so now we need to call ATC for ready for descent. We have 10 miles to go, and to start to prepare the aircraft for descent, we need to go to the upper overhead, turn the AC pump to auto and PTU to on. Pressurization is gonna take care of itself, and I think that's pretty much what we need to do before we start the descent. So let's go ahead and take a look at the descent checklist. PTU is on, pressurization is set, briefing is complete, landing data, we will set that while we are descending, seats and harnesses are locked and secure. So let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt signs on. I don't think we need the AC pump, we'll just keep the PTU on. And 5 miles, let's call ATC for descent.
Jersey 197, flight present heading, descend to flight level 080. Isle of Man Airport landing runway 26.
Alright, perfect. That's what I wanted to see.
Flight present heading, descend to flight level 080. Isle of Man Airport landing runway 26, Jersey 197.
Okay. We will set that. We will select the indicated airspeed mode, and the aircraft will start descending, and we are almost there. So we are gonna control the descent rate by pulling our throttles back until we reach a 1900 feet per minute descent rate. But that's a little bit too much. So it's gonna be a little bit swinging, looks like. So let's do this adjustment slowly. And one thing I forgot is put the TMS to descent mode. And now we should be able to have better control of our throttles. Alright, so that's better. That's too much descent rate. We will adjust our throttles until we see something like 1900 feet per minute. Perfect. I think we are close. That's good enough. So it's hard to adjust the throttles with my controller, unfortunately, but looks like we have a good descent rate now, and we will descend like this until we reach 8,000 feet. We are given the QNH of 1015. We will set it up when we get closer to 10,000 feet. We will monitor the speed. We will make sure we are not accelerating, which we shouldn't. And the rest is just to follow the descent path and control our vertical speed and control our advisory VNAV. So it's recommending 1800 feet per minute. So maybe we are just a little bit fast to descend. So we will play with the throttles tiny bit to reduce the thrust until we see something close to 1800 feet per minute. Okay, weather is not helping us, but looks like we are getting there slowly. So you need to make very small adjustments to the throttles, otherwise you will get into the risk of descending too slow, and that's what we don't want. I think we are gonna leave it here and see what VNAV gives us. So that's what we need to do until we get to 10,000, and then we will discuss about the landing part once we are there. One thing maybe we can do while we are here is to decide which flap setting we want to use. We, I think, are going to land with full flaps because Isle of Man also has a short runway. So we will select flaps 122 or flaps 33, and that should set our speed box. VREF is 123, and that's already set. Perfect. And we will obviously use a little bit higher than that to compensate for the wind, but we will descend like this. Let's check the advisory VNAV one more time. It's looking okay, and I'll meet you guys when we are ready to cross below 10,000. I'll come back once more, friends. We are getting close to 10,000, and we need to make some changes to our descent mode to control the speed, because we need to drop the speed below 250 knots. To do that, we will select the vertical speed mode. That will take us out of the indicated airspeed mode, and we can now bring the throttles back to slow the aircraft down below 250 knots before we cross below 10,000. We should maintain this descent rate with the vertical speed, which we are seeing here. We are descending around 1800 feet per minute. According to our advisory VNAV, it's recommending 1650, so we should be good. One thing we can use that's unique to this aircraft is there is a sync mode. When you press or set the toggle afterburners.
197. Contact Ronald's Way, approach 135.905.
Let's just make this communication, and then I'll
Contact
continue
Ronald's Way, approach
explaining.
135.905, Jersey 197. Ronald's Way, Jersey 197, flight level 136 with information November.
Jersey 197 Ronald's Way approach. QNH1015 expect radar vectors for ILS runway 26.
QNH1015 expect radar vectors for ILS runway 26, Jersey 197.
Okay, so there is a sync mode that you can assign to toggle afterburners, and you can control the pitch while you are in sync mode and set it so that you can change your vertical speed to follow the VNAV a little bit better. We can always make use of that massive speed brake to slow the aircraft down below 250 knots before we cross below 10,000 feet, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So the thrust is almost at idle, and now we are below 250 knots, and from here we can use the indicated airspeed mode, but I'm gonna leave it at vertical speed mode just to make sure we are not accelerating. Alright, I already tuned the frequency 111.15, that's the ILS frequency. We can switch it to active. It's also tuned to our M.2, and the final approach course is 259er. We also selected that. We are coming down to 10,000. Speed is looking good, and we are gonna continue with the rest and turn on our landing lights and runway turn off lights. So now we started receiving
turn right, heading 345, Jersey
vectors
197.
from ATC. So we can use the heading mode to follow the ATC instructions and keep descending.
Jersey 197, descend to flight level 050.
Descend to flight level 050, Jersey 197.
Right, we are gonna descend to 050, turn heading 345, and we'll see what we are gonna get from the ATC in terms of aligning ourselves with the runway. I haven't tested beyond the ATC for this quite frequently, so I'm not sure if we are going to get proper vectoring to our initial fix, but we need to get down to 2,000 feet for that, so we'll see how that works.
Jersey 197, turn right, heading 015.
Okay.
Turn right, heading 015, Jersey 197.
So that's 01. That should be 015. Looks like they are directing us directly to the initial fix, and they should give us 2,000 feet very shortly. So while we are in the heading mode, we can switch to the nav mode to make use of the ILS, because looks like we will be vectored until the localizer. And we can also arm the localizer, which is this button here, very shortly. We have the DME from the we have the DME from the localizer. We are almost at 6,000.
197, turn right, heading 035.
Turn right, heading 035, Jersey 197.
We will turn heading
Jersey
035.
197, turn left, heading 005, descend to flight level 040.
Turn left, heading 005, descend to flight level 040, Jersey 197.
Okay. That was a little bit interesting, but we'll take it. I think we can arm the localizer. We are getting very close, and we need to find a way to control our speed and slow down and start retracting our flaps.
Jersey 197, 8 miles from CF26, turn left, heading 300, maintain 2,000 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared ILS runway 26.
Turn left, heading 300, 2,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 26, Jersey 197.
Light slope's alive, 1 dot to go.
And we have the glide. We have localizer capture, so we can arm the glide slope. And now we need to start reducing our speed. So we'll use the speed brake for that. Once we get down to 2,000 feet, looks like the localizer is captured, and we are waiting for the glide slope. and we need to get down to 2,000 feet for that. We don't have too much time left, so we will go flaps. First level of flaps, we will reduce the speed brakes. We can use the sync mode to descend a little bit faster to get to the 2,000 feet. Okay, we are close. That's good. So the aircraft should start slowing down on its own once we capture the altitude. And we are at 2,500 feet. Decision height is 200, and we are waiting for glide slope to start coming down. All looking good now. Obviously, I'm not seeing the airport because of the cloud coverage, but so be it. And we started slowing the aircraft down, which is great. We will wait until we reach the white marker to introduce more flaps. And at about 10 miles, so we will drop the landing gear at around 8 miles to the runway. And we are waiting for aircraft to keep slowing down.
197, contact Ronaldsway Tower 119.005.
Yeah, that should be the last handoff.
Over to Tower 119.005, Jersey 197.
Oops, are selected.
Ronaldsway Tower, Jersey 197, ILS runway 26.
Jersey 197, Ronaldsway Tower, continue.
Roger, Jersey 197.
Alright. Gear is coming down. We will add some power to control the speed and not to slow down too much. Landing gear is now coming down. We are at flaps 24. And waiting for glide slope capture. Glide slope started coming down, which is great. Add more thrust to help with the speed, because we don't want to slow down too much. Okay, glide slope captured. Hey, we are losing too much speed, so I'm gonna increase the thrust. So now we started on the glide slope. The speed should climb up again. Now the glide slope is captured, we can set the missed approach altitude of 3,000 feet. And follow the glide slope to land the aircraft. We need some additional thrust to maintain the glide slope and not
Jersey
to...
197, wind 180 at 10, runway 26 cleared to land.
Okay, that's our landing clearance.
Runway 26 cleared to land, Jersey 197.
Speed check
That's
below 145. Select flap 33.
Flaps 33 selected. We will inform the cabin. And monitor the speed. That's what we need to do for the rest of the flight. Now speed is looking good. We have a re-ref of 123, so I'm trying to get there. Still no sign of the airport, but slightly started seeing the ground. Radio altitude is showing 1100 feet. I'm gonna stay on the autopilot until I have a visual of the runway, and then we will take control and bring her in. So let's cut the throttles a little bit. 1000 checked. Starting to come below the clouds. At this point we can turn the continuous ignition on and take a look at the landing checklist. AC pump, gear, brakes, lights, flaps, cabin, airframe, DIs, APU. We can start the APU, I forgot that. We'll start the APU. AC pump will go on and we will focus on landing the aircraft. There's the runway. I am going to take control now
Autopilot disconnected.
and cut the throttles and control the aircraft to align it with the runway. We are a little bit high, but we will get back on the glide slope very shortly. Continue. Looking good. Passing the threshold. Throttles are to idle.
Glide slope.
50, 40, 30.
We should touch down very shortly.
10.
Ground idle.
Touchdown. Nose gear is down. Speed brakes are out and manual braking.
Yellow and green spoilers. 80 knots.
And we will make use of this high-speed exit.
60 knots.
Or we have to probably turn around on the
Jersey
runway.
197, exit left at Alpha.
Exit left at Alpha, Jersey 197.
I have no idea which one is Alpha. Oh, that's this one here. Okay, flaps are coming in, speed brake is coming in. And we are gonna use this exit to vacate the runway. Alright, we will momentarily stop here to clean the aircraft up and get everything prepared for taxiing back to the parking position. Alright, we'll stop here. First thing, we'll just set the weather radar back to standby. Transponder can stay on 3-air array. Engine air can come off because we have APU air available now. APU generator is on. Continuous ignition can turn off. Transfer can go off. AC pump and PTU can be turned off now. And let's take a look at after landing checklist. Air brake spoilers in, flaps are selected up. Landing lights are turned off. We'll turn on the taxi lights. Strobes are turned off. I'm using my controller assigned switches for that. TMS, we will turn it off. Radar is in standby, transponder on, anti-ice is not required, continuous ignition turned off, air conditioning is on, generators are on, engines are on. So some airlines can taxi with 2 engines, but we are not going to do that. And we can now request taxi to the gate. Runnelsway ground, Jersey 197, requesting taxi to the gate.
Jersey 197, welcome to Isle of Man Airport. Stay parking or advise if need assignment.
We'll take any ramp.
Any ramp is fine, Jersey 197.
Jersey 197, ramp 60 taxi via Alpha, Foxtrot, Echo. Hold short runway 21.
Ramp 60 taxi via Alpha, Foxtrot, Echo. Hold short runway 21, Jersey 197.
Alright, let's take a look. We are taxiing via Alpha, Foxtrot, and Echo. Hold short runway 21. And I think they are gonna make us cross the runway and continue taxiing, which is great. So we can do that. Let's make sure our taxi lights are on, and we can add some thrust to keep moving. Brakes are shoot. All right, we're moving now. Slowly but surely, and we will continue taxiing. It's been a really good flight. I like the handling of this aircraft, especially during landing. You don't have to worry about losing the glide slope or your alignment to the runway too much. and it really flies nicely, or hand flies nicely. So we are, or we should be on taxiway alpha now. Continue taxiing like this and get back to our parking position very shortly. While we are doing that, we can turn off the pitos and vanes and window heat. We don't need them anymore. Continue like this. I think the next left turn is Foxtrot, or no, not next turn. The second left turn should be Foxtrot. We'll see very shortly. I'm gonna keep the speed up just to shorten the taxi time. But overall, I think this was a very good flight. So we can turn off our DME equipment. We can turn off our nav radio. We don't need that anymore. This turn ahead of us with the sign should be Foxtrot right there. Not this one, the one after this, because this is angled and this is not a turn for us, I believe. Let's get back on the center taxi line, slightly change it. While we are doing this, we can turn off the flight directors. We don't need them anymore. And continue taxiing. Yep, this should be Foxtrot. Correct, that's Foxtrot. We are going to make this left turn into Foxtrot. Apply the brakes just a little bit to slow the aircraft down. Check our brake temperatures. They are cooling. Brake coolers are on auto, so the brake fans should be cooling the brakes. And we can make this turn to Foxtrot and then a right turn into Echo. And we will hold short runway 21 and request permission to cross once we are there. This should be Echo to the right, and runway 21 after completing the turn should be right in front of us. I am using a free scenery improvement for Isle of Man, the default Isle of Man, and I think this adds a lot of good realism and improvements to this airport. So it's in flight, it can be found in flightsim.to or on flightsim.to if you are interested. Make sure to check it out because it really looks great with that improvement add-on. So that's runway 21 right in front of us. We will come to a momentary stop and request permission to cross from ATC. Very nice. There's runway 21, hold short point. So let's slow the aircraft down. Make sure we don't breach the hold short line. Contact and tell them that we are ready to cross.
Jersey 197,
Oh.
cross runway 21 at Echo.
Okay.
Continue taxi via Echo.
Alright, we are
Cross runway 21 at
permission
Echo.
to cross.
Continue taxi via Echo, Jersey 197.
We will turn on our strobe lights and our landing lights until we cross the runway. Let's check the left. No aircraft on approach, no aircraft on the right side. We are good to cross the runway. It's idle. We are across, or we crossed runway 21, so landing lights and strobes can come off. and taxi lights can be turned on again. So we are asked to continue taxiing on Echo, and the parking stand should be to our left right here. We are looking for stand 60, so hopefully we will be able to spot ramp 60, I'm sorry, once we make this turn into the parking position. This is probably not the appropriate passenger parking position. I should have asked for a different place, but hopefully Beyond ATC will improve on this front to make sure it's giving the proper parking positions for passenger aircraft. This looks like a cargo ramp in my opinion. And look at this, that's ramp 60. Interesting, isn't it? Well, that's the worst part of this flight, I guess, not being able to park to a passenger gate. But so be it, we'll stop here. There is no pushback tug or anything like that, so we will turn the parking brakes on. And we will shut the engines down. APU is running, APU air is on. So we are good to shut the engines down. We'll start with engine number 4, 3, 2, and 1. And eventually we can turn off the taxi lights and the beacon off. Doors should be disarmed by the crew. We can open the passenger doors and stairs. Silence the warnings. Shutdown, we are not quite ready to do that, and I'm probably going to skip that just to keep the video around 30 minutes. But you have seen the most part. Master warning system can be disarmed now. Passenger signs can be turned off, as well as the no smoking. Let's see, fuel pumps, center transfer to shut. Generators can go offline now. We are on APU generator. Hydraulics can be turned off. AC/DC pump is off. Avionics master, AP master, yaw damper master, and anti-skid can be turned off. We will leave the, well, we can turn these off too. We will keep the hydraulics for a little longer and request deboarding from GSX. Let's see what we will get, because I'm not sure if this is a passenger gate. Yeah, see, we are not seeing any parking positions given by GSX. I should have asked for a different position. So we'll leave it at this. We will not do the deboarding with GSX. But here it is, guys. We made it to Isle of Man. It was a beautiful flight for me, and I forgot to runway turn off lights. So let's turn them off. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Thanks for being here with me today. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like. And if you are not a channel subscriber but stumbled upon this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turning the bell on to get notified for future videos. Again, thanks for being here with me today, and I'll be seeing you in a future video.